What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Today we're continuing on with Imperial, the Jonathan Hickman story, and today we're focusing on Imperial War Exiles. We've had a handful of one-shots, but this is the one that I've been waiting for, because this is the return of Charles Xavier. If you've been following the channel, you'll see that we covered the X-manhunt, and what that was really a follow-up to everything that happened after Krakoa. Professor X pretty much got thrown into a jail cell, and with him imprisoned, he was able to break out. There was a big hunt for him, but it all ended in a climactic scene on the beach. All of the mutants coming and pretty much seeing him off because he said that his daughter was in trouble. There was nothing that was gonna stop him from saving her. And then he took off to the stars and we never saw him again until now. And so our story picks us up on the Shi'ar throne world. We pick up with Deathbird and Xandra. And currently, right now, the two of them, they stand opposed to the Imperial Guard. You see, during this Imperial War, we saw the Imperial Guard they did do a coup. They rebelled against the Empire. It really didn't take much to move the pendulum. The Imperial Guard was on edge for a long time, and Electron taking the lead, pretty much saying that we're no longer going to be your lackeys, that we have been the fist behind your power for so long, but that ends today. It ends today with a new era, a better era. And as they prepare to behead Xandra, this is where Xandra wakes up on a ship. She has no idea what the heck is going on. The only thing that she does know is that Deathbird, she's behind the wheel. They're taking this cruiser and they're getting out of here as fast as they can. With most of the Imperial Guard standing against them, they have to assume the worst happened to Gladiator. This means that they need new allies. But when Neutron and the others, they show up on the ship, they're able to catch up to Deathbird and Xandra, running as far as they can. Deathbird draws out her swords, and she prepares to fight. They prepare to make their final stand. But as Neutron breaks down the door, once they get inside, they realize that they have all been played. To understand how they were played, we have to go back. Right before that axe had been swung to take Xandra's life, everybody froze. And everybody froze because of Professor Xavier. By his side is Lilandra, Xandra's mother. We saw Professor X more or less bring her back to life, and together they took off the stars to find their daughter. This is where they find her, and in this place, everybody is frozen. Everybody except for the War Stars. Being pretty much mechanical robots, he's not able to affect them, but that's where Charles' beloved comes into play. She pulls out her spear and she puts him down. But with Charles and them showing up, they pretty much are letting Xandra know that we gotta get out of here. Though Xandra wants to stay, she wants to fight, she wants to protect her people, they can't do it from here. They have to get out of here, they have to regroup and figure out their next course of action. Now Electron thinks himself to be in charge. He thinks that he claims the birthright of the throne. They know this to be an outrageous lie, yet he believes it to be true. More than this, the citizens, they're starting to be swayed towards him. The people's rebellion is building. Professor X letting them know that these guys, they have psychic protection. I can only hold them for so long, especially when we're talking about a scale this large. We have to go soon because my control won't last forever. And though they consider ending this right here, killing Electron right where he stands, but this would only make him a martyr. This would make them the tyrants that they're calling them to be. Deathbird knows that they're gonna need a distraction, and so she plans to stay behind. Charles and the others, they're gonna take off while Deathbird stays behind and makes this look real. Charles has done what he can to alter their perceptions, so they'll be confused about the last few minutes. That should buy her some time. Concerned that they're gonna come to and Xandra's not here, Charles manipulates one of the hobgoblins, makes the hobgoblin transform into Xandra, and really, the hobgoblin is believing it is Xandra. So when Neutron had shown up on that ship, what he found was the hobgoblin, he was dead. In his blood, all traitors must die. This is written on the wall, a message left behind from Deathbird. They had been able to make their escape on the jump ship. In that jump ship, they were able to get to a Stargate. But as we pick up with Electron and all the others, now pretty much taking control of everything, there's a secret that the Empire has been keeping, a group of individuals that had been disbanded. So officially, they're not on the record. This gives them greater operational freedom. Combined, they have 3,700 kills, and they're answerable only to him. Officially, they don't exist. But these are the Shi'ar Death Commandos. We have Titanfall, Farstar, Black Cloak, Pale Sun, Supercluster, and Warp Rider. This is the crew that is gonna hunt down Xandra, that is gonna find the Empress and bring her to answer for her tyranny. This is what takes us to Xandra and Charles. After everything that has happened, they sit down and they kind of just have a discussion on what has happened and where they're gonna go next. There's a big weight on her shoulders. She would lay down her life for the Empire. It is her duty to think of herself last, because she has trillions of lives that she must consider. And this is something that Charles kind of understands. He was trying to be the steward of an entire nation, such a small scale in comparison to the empire she's trying to run. And even he failed drastically in that. Really, Xandra, she wants to go back. She doesn't like the fact that she's leaving all of her people, but her parents are letting her know that this is the best bet for right now. We have to get you somewhere safe, and the safest place for you right now is a kind of Shi'ar kept secret. Only the rulers have ever known about it, but it's a planet hidden away from colonization, away from intrusion, a kind of last haven equipped for any eventuality. This is where they regroup. This is where they plan their counteroffensive. But to do this, they're gonna have to call in some backup. There's some lost souls among the stars that are still more than ready to fight for them. And so they call their exiles. They gather the unlikeliest of heroes, and they prepare for war. That is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Definitely not as action-packed as I was expecting it to be, and I'm a little bit let down, I'm not gonna lie, because X-Hunt or X-manhunt, whatever the heck it was called, I can't remember off the top of my head, but that was really like Charles Xavier he had purpose behind him, you know what I mean? Like, he had reason, he had motive, he was leaving Earth. There was no ifs, ands, buts about it. He was getting off Earth and he was going to rescue his daughter. There was nothing and nobody that was going to stop him. And honestly, after everything that happened on Krakoa, it's probably best you get rid of Charles Xavier. If you're not gonna keep him in prison, you can't keep him just walking around. You can't. Not after everything that happened. After the monster that he became. But I half expected him to show up and just start dropping bodies. But he's more tactical than that. I just wish that they had written in even 1-2 pages maybe of him actually taking some dudes down. Of him just walking into a room and dudes just falling as if he were walking death itself. Because he has the capability. And last we had seen him, he was more than ready to do what was necessary. But they're definitely thinking more political. They're thinking more strategic. They could have done that. When they showed up on the throne worlds, they could have dropped everybody right then and there and been like, all right, this coup is over. But they're choosing not to do that, fearing that the people might rebel, which arguably is the smarter way to go. Like I said, I just wanted to see Charles really just mess some dudes up. But we still got time. This war is only just beginning and there is a lot more to come. All in all though, not a bad little one-shot, really setting it up and letting us know where Xandra is standing, where the Shi'ar Empire is standing with everything else going on. You know, we have Black Bolt, the Inhuman, showing up. Surprised that Charles doesn't even have this information, because you would think with all of this happening that Charles would be reaching out and trying to figure out what happened. That he would have dived into the mind of Electron and actually figured out his motive and who led him down this path. Maybe he did. Maybe this is information that just hasn't been revealed to us, but Charles does have this information. It would be disappointing to say that he doesn't have this information. With how powerful he is as a telepath, he easily would dive into their minds and figure out, like, why the hell you're going after my daughter, why you're starting this coup. But we'll see how it plays out. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. It's a lot like Patreon, having a bunch of different perks, and it greatly helps out the channel while giving you guys a bunch of different options. Now, if you're unable to do that, please do me the favor of subscribing to the channel, liking this video, hitting that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.